You're watching WISC TV3 Madison.
March Madness gets a little too wild for the Mad City. It tops our news tonight.
An empty aquarium in the boys' state wrestling tournament. It's a fishy tale. Tonight we'll tell you how it could change hotel policy in the future.
2 are dead and 3 injured after a shooting spree in Pittsburgh. Coming up, we'll show you where and how it happened.
And world-famous Perrier still has its eye on the Wisconsin water. Coming up, find out where it wants to tap in. Kids can get a little wild sometimes, perhaps a bit too wild. Good evening, I'm John Kircher.
And I'm Carlene Wild. Some out-of-hand March Madness has a Madison hotel thinking of changing the rules for state tournament guests. Our Colin Benedict has been following the story. He joins us now with the details.
In-town managers say under-supervised kids are to blame. Sunday morning, in-towner guests awoke to an aquarium full of water, cigarette butts, pizza, beer, and 32 dead fish. Now they're fishing for answers. It's just the beginning of March Madness, state tournament time. But sometimes the coach's biggest worry is not the opposing team, but his own.
It's a real burden, I think, something that you kind of hold your breath on.
Because when your kids aren't in competition, sometimes they're out of hand.
We're dealing with 15, 16, 17, 18-year-old young people who sometimes act before they think.
At the in-towner, the March Madness began early, mainly Saturday night.
For me, it was very hard to come in Sunday and see that.
Now it's empty, but Sunday it was filled with many things, including 32 dead fish. Also, 2 room numbers were stolen, numbers 140 and 152. Both of those are wrestling weight classes.
We're not blaming any athletes or anything like that. The hotel was full of a lot of kids, and they just weren't chaperoned properly.
So the in-towner is now developing guidelines for all state tourney guests next year, probably asking for more adults and a stricter curfew. The 20-member Lodi team wasn't in town at the in-towner Saturday, but it will travel to West Allis for the team tournament this weekend.
We want it to be a fun, exciting, memorable experience, but at the same token, we do want them to representing our community, our school. We want them to represent them in a very, very positive manner.
Now, most schools consider athletic trips an extension of the school day. At Lodi, they send home an itinerary and a list of expectations that parents and athletes sign. Another area athletic director told me he actually picks hotels that have less attractions or distractions, like a pool.
The in-towner's making some changes. What about the aquarium? And the fish going to be back?
Well, the plan is to restock, but not until after this year's tournaments are done. Total cost expected to be about $1,500.
Thanks, Colin.
A Madison woman was assaulted outside a West Side store and then went after her attacker. The woman told police she was looking under the hood of her car in the Best Buy parking lot when she felt someone's hand under her dress. The woman said she chased the man through the lot on foot, but he got in his car and sped away. He was driving a black, sporty 2-door car. And for the 3rd time in a month now, an attempted abduction, this one at Westtown Mall. The man pushed the woman and tried to force her into his car. She screamed and then left. Police don't know if this is the same person who attacked retail workers on the east side. Here is what police believe the east side attacker looks like. A white man about 30 years old, 5'3" to 5'8". He had a stocky build with short, dark blonde hair, which is shaved short on the sides, and he may have been driving a red pickup truck.
2 people are dead, 3 critically wounded after a man goes on a shooting spree in Pittsburgh today. The shooting happened just after noon Central Time in Wilkinsburg, which is 9 miles east of Pittsburgh. Police say the gunman first shot a member of a work crew at his apartment building, then set the building on fire. After that, he went to a nearby Burger King where he shot another person. Then he went to a McDonald's and shot 3 more people. The gunman then ran, firing at police as he fled. He took several hostages in a nearby building that houses a daycare center for kids and seniors. Negotiators got the man to surrender. Witnesses say Ronald Taylor lived here for about a year. The violence started after Taylor complained maintenance work was taking too long.
Because I know he was after me. I know it for sure.
He got mad and he shot the one maintenance worker right in the neck, and then he set the apartment building on fire.
Negotiators tonight say Taylor went back and forth between killing himself and surrendering. He was mad about a broken door at his apartment that wasn't repaired fast enough.
Today's shooting comes on the heels of another tragedy, the fatal shooting of a 6-year-old girl yesterday by one of her classmates. At a custody hearing in Michigan, the parents of the shooter apologized for their son's actions. The boy apparently found the .32 caliber handgun at his uncle's house where he's staying. A makeshift memorial now graces the door of the pair's elementary school where classes were canceled today.
An Internal Revenue Service agent is found dead. Police are investigating whether the shooting, which took place inside the Ronald Reagan Federal Building in California, was suicide or an accident. Whatever your definition of a miracle, this must come close. Sophia Pedro spent 3 days in a tree in Mozambique when a military helicopter found her. 45 minutes before it arrived, she gave birth. Mom and baby are fine. The scene is much the same in Colombia. At least 8 have died and hundreds others homeless by severe flooding there. Predictions are the weather system will continue to wreak havoc in the area through June. The Senate Judiciary Committee is hearing testimony on oppression by the Cuban government. Speakers included Fidel Castro's daughter and Elian Gonzalez's cousin in the U.S., who's still fighting to get Elian U.S. citizenship.
The folks from Perrier come courting in Adams County and get a mostly hostile reception from the locals. Perrier is offering up to 250 jobs in return for drawing more than 500,000 gallons of water a day from the scenic area of Big Spring. At a packed hearing, many voiced distrust of that and the DNR, the state agency, which would have to give it its blessing.
We're not only worried about our water, which is our main concern, but there are a lot of other things involved here. Our electricity. What about the electricity?
Perrier says its $35 million plant would not disrupt service. It hopes to provide more answers after preliminary tests are done over the next few weeks. Some tell us they like the Perrier plant. One man said, the water is flowing away free now. Why not get something for it? With pool season just ahead, a device to ease fears. Jim Hager has invented a laser fence that surrounds a pool. When the line is broken, an alarm sounds. Hager says it will sell for nearly $100. Hager lost a nephew in a pool drowning. A Manitowoc man comes home after severe injuries in Japan. Locals collected money for Joel Tess's flight and medical bills. Tess fell off a balcony 2 months ago. A manhunt in Racine County today. Cops looking for 2 men who assaulted a security guard at an auto auction. Cops think it may be the work of Chicago gangs upset with the arrest of their friends here. Doctors that perform kidney transplants ecstatic over its success rate. A new study shows the 1-year survival rate is now above 94%. Alfalfa plants are waking up around Wisconsin, and that could lead to problems. The tender plants could survive a cold snap, but 2 is unlikely. Wisconsin farmers grow about 5 million acres of alfalfa every year.
How can you turn the tables on telemarketers? Know your rights. We're on your side coming up.
In our forecast, first expect mostly sunny skies on Thursday. Temperatures will still be milder than normal, our high reaching 43. I'll be back with a complete look at our forecast for the end of the week in just a few minutes.
Welcome to Powerball. Here are tonight's winning numbers. Remember, the 6th ball is the Powerball, giving you 6 more ways to win. Catch the winning numbers every Wednesday and Saturday here on WISC TV3. Now stay tuned for more News 3 at 10.
We'll have those numbers for you again in just a couple minutes.
In case you didn't have your pencil.
Right. Well, the number of complaints against telemarketers is climbing rapidly.
Yeah, it really is. It's like #1 in the state. Earlier tonight at 6, we told you about a proposed bill to create a do not call list here in Wisconsin. But you can already use laws on the books to cut down on those sales calls at your house. And you may even be able to force companies to pay up for wasting your time. Katie Sy on your side with details.
It's a sound many have come to dread.
There's so many calls daily. It's frustrating because they don't stop.
Sandy Carmichael is home from work on medical leave, but rather than enjoy the peace and quiet, she's come to realize
that telemarketers call throughout the day. All day, all night. When I had asked her, how late can you call people on the telephone? And she said 11 o'clock at night. I told her it was pathetic.
And it's illegal.
A telemarketer cannot call you before 8 o'clock in the morning. They cannot call you after 9 o'clock at night.
That's according to state and federal law. When Sandy told one telemarketer she didn't want any more calls from the company,
she told me that I would have to write to the company and ask them to take me off their list. And I don't think that I should have to do that.
You don't have to do that.
If the consumer says on the telemarketing call that I don't want you to call me again, put me on your do not call list, the telemarketer cannot call you.
If they do, they face state and federal charges. And here's where it gets even more interesting.
We've heard some reports of consumers, not in Wisconsin, but in other parts of the country, earning as much as $12,000 to $18,000 a year.
Here's how. Document the name of the company and when you told them to put you on their no-call list. If the company continues to call, document that. Then, send off a letter to the company, copied to Consumer Protection, saying,
under the law, I could sue you as a private citizen, but instead, why don't you just send me some money that compensates me for what you've done to me? And that's when the consumers, from the reports that we have seen, have gotten $500 checks back from a variety of companies around the country.
With the number of calls spinning out of control, Sandy's ready to try anything to stop the ringing in her ears. On your side, Katie Sy, WISC News 3.
Well, lawmakers have several bills on the table to cut down on those sales calls. To find out about them and voice your opinion about telemarketing, there's a legislative hotline for you at 800-362-9742.
Put that to good use.
Yeah.
All right. Well, a crisp one tonight. Gary Canulti has your forecast next.
And at 10:23, Wednesday's child is an artist.
My name is Zeba. I'm 8 years old.
And he's this week's Wednesday's child.
This week we painted pottery.
And can Dick Bennett's Badgers handle the pressure in Evanston against the Wildcats? Highlights from tonight's battle with Northwestern later in sports.
News 3 Chief Meteorologist Gary Canulti has the AMS seal of approval.
Actually felt chilly this afternoon with temperatures only in the 40s compared to the record-setting high temperature of 60 that we had the day before. However, these temperatures are still well above normal. In fact, from our weather spotter stations, highs today were up to 41 at Cascade Mountain, 43 here at the WISC TV studios, and 43 in Cambridge. It's a little warmer to the south. There's a little more sunshine through the day. 46 degrees in Janesville, 44 in Fitchburg, but only 41 to the west in Dodgeville. Officially in Madison, the high temperature today reached 47 degrees. We're at our low for the day right now of 32 now that the skies have cleared out. Winds are light from the southwest at 3 miles per hour. We have a rising barometric pressure, both signs that we should see a pretty nice day tomorrow. So we look at current temperatures across the state of Wisconsin. They're still above where they should be for this time of year. Low to mid-30s across most of the southern portion of the state, upper 20s in far northern Wisconsin. The satellite view across the country shows no major storm systems to the west of us. There are some clouds down to the south. This storm system will take a southerly route and completely bypass us, so we're not even worried about the clouds or precipitation from it. And right now, skies have cleared across most of Wisconsin, with the exception of the far northeastern portion of the state. Big bubble of high pressure from just north of Minnesota extends all the way down to our south, and that will keep us dry for a while. Temperatures are coldest in the vicinity of the high pressure system, in the 20s right now. 30s across most of Wisconsin, and the 40s and 50s are pushed well to the south. Lows tonight will be in the 20s across most of the southern two-thirds of the state, some upper teens up near Lake Superior. High temperatures tomorrow should be confined to the 40s in most areas, some upper 30s in northeastern Wisconsin and areas near Lake Michigan. High pressure will be right on top of us tomorrow, bringing us bright sunshine, keeping the skies almost perfectly clear. This storm system will pass to the south, as I mentioned, with showers moving down through Illinois and Indiana. That keeps us dry for Friday with partly sunny skies and also milder conditions. In fact, some of the warmer weather across the Midwest will actually be to our north and west, where highs will be in the 50s. The 40s will be underneath the cloud cover across most of Illinois and Indiana, and we'll be close to 50 on Friday afternoon. By Saturday, though, we should be back in the lower 50s, and then we'll have cloud cover our own with the next storm system, giving us a chance for some showers late in the day on Sunday and high temperatures in the upper 40s. Forecast for tonight calls for clearing skies and colder conditions. Low temperature 26, bright sunshine when you wake up tomorrow, but chilly to start the day with a temperature of 26. By lunchtime, we're up to around 38 degrees. Our high tomorrow reaching 43 and around 42 by 5 p.m., very similar to today. The extended forecast keeps temperatures well above normal, around 50 for the weekend, with a chance of showers late in the day on Sunday, maybe a shower or thunderstorm on Monday. And by then, temperatures will be back in the mid-50s to close to 60.
Oh, it sounds great.
Sure does. I just hope we don't make up for it further on down.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem to be.
We must be getting a little bit spoiled because I walked out the door today and I felt cold.
Right.
Which is, you know.
Well, Hopefully, we'll get back up to around 60 and keep you happy.
Sounds great. Thanks a lot, Gary.
Okay.
Only minutes ago, you heard them right here on Channel 3. The winning Powerball numbers, 100 million could be yours if the numbers are right. We'll take another look at your chances after sports.
And then on News 3 this morning, we're headed off to Waterloo and take a look at their celebration for National Reading Week. Join us starting at 5:30 a.m.
You're watching News 3 at 10 with John Karcher and Carleen Wild.
It isn't uncommon for Wednesday's child and Toya to get a little messed up during their time together.
Yeah, but out of the mess, they made this week a little art. Zivon and Toya got creative at Studio U.
Zivon's an artist at heart and was willing to prove it at Studio U.
What do you want to think?
A football bank. My favorite sport is football because I'm going to use the white for the strings and a big white W and the brown for the ball.
He knew exactly what shades would create a masterpiece.
This and this.
But before putting my brush to work, I needed a lesson.
You have to sponge it off.
Why?
Get it ready for the paint. Get the dust off.
All right, all done.
Get a paintbrush and wet it.
Okay. Well, what if I can I make a design first?
Yeah.
Zivon's inspired to goof around. Don't you dare! Don't you dare! Don't you dare! Before any pennies go into the bank goes into a glaze and then into a kiln, and voila, Zivon's art. It's ready for sale, and Zivon says an original Zivon isn't cheap. With Wednesday's child, Toya Washington, WISC News 3.
Zivon is very athletic and outgoing besides artistic. He likes football, he likes to swim and bike, would love to learn how to fish. If you're interested in becoming a big brother or sister, you can call 661-KIDS for more information. And those studios look like a lot of fun, don't they? I've always wanted to go. Make a little flower pot.
There you go. A huge mug. Coming up, the Badger basketball team keeps its NCAA tourney hopes alive tonight at Northwestern.
And on the eye of the state hockey tournament, we'll hear from 2 local teams involved. That's next in sports.
Now, News 3 Sports with Eric Franke.
Well, a tough situation tonight for Dick Bennett and his Badgers. They absolutely had to win to keep NCAA hopes alive, but it was senior night for Northwestern. Kevin O'Neill's team hadn't won a Big Ten game yet, and they'd love to spoil Wisconsin's year, but Mark Bershaw wouldn't let him. The banker off the glass. 19-16 Badgers. Bershaw 16 in the first half. Defensively, Dwayne picking a pocket. He'll take it in for the deuce. Wisconsin leads 28-20. Doc with 9 tonight. Then look at the pass from Bershaw to Mo Linton. He goes up for the reverse jam. Badgers end the half on a 14-1 run and lead 33-20. Mike Kelly, though, makes history tonight. He had 5 steals. There's one of them. He passes Tracy Webster for the all-time UW record to Linton for the jam. Badgers up 39-22. And then more from Bershaw, the junior from Peoria. A career-high 23 points. Wisconsin wins 62-46. The Badgers now 15-12 on the year, and the difference was that big first-half run.
The run at the end of the first half, thankfully, was it, because they played us even for about 35 of the 40 minutes. But that 5-minute stretch was the difference in the ball game.
I think it was we just looked for the extra pass, and we didn't take the first easy shot when we worked the ball around. When we did reverse it, that's when we got the good shots. And I think some of the times we just kept it on one side of the floor, and that's when we got 4 shots. And I think in that stretch, we really moved the ball well.
And next up for the Badgers, Sunday, March 5th, 3 p.m. tip-off, a game you can watch right here on WISC TV3. The season finale, the home finale. UW tries to keep those NCAA tournament hopes alive. Number 6, Ohio State at Penn State tonight. Buckeyes up 6, second half. Joe Crispin hits off balance. He led the Nittany Lions with 21 points, but the Buckeyes had an answer for everything tonight. George Reese right here in the lane. He had 16, 22 for Michael Redd, and Ohio State wins 79-73. Now, as for the Badger women, they're off to Indianapolis for the beginning of the Big Ten tournament tomorrow. The 6th-seeded Badgers meet the 11th seed Minnesota in the first round. It'll be a tough test. The Badgers must try to beat the Gophers for the 3rd time this year. They can't afford to look past the worst team in the conference.
I think that you don't overlook them because they're the last place team in the Big Ten. You know, they're actually a pretty decent team, and they've had some more wins this year than they've had in the last 4 or 5 years. Got to keep their three-point shooters from getting untracked. That's one thing for sure, and out-rebound them.
Tip-off around 7:30 tomorrow at the brand-new Conseco Fieldhouse in Indianapolis. Well, 2 local teams with 2 very different histories are getting some rest tonight, preparing for an appearance in the WIAA State Hockey Tournament, which begins tomorrow. McFarland, Oregon, will make its first ever appearance in the state tournament. They've put together a great season. They aren't content with just getting to the Dane County Coliseum. They want to do something once they get there.
It's been good. We've had a lot of support from the fans for the last couple games. We've been working for this all year, so it's good to see everyone come out and support us and everyone working hard.
I think, we're happy to be here, but at the same time, we don't want to be satisfied with that. It's been a long, good season, and we'd like to keep it going.
And also in action tomorrow, Madison Memorial. But this is old hat for the Spartans and head coach Vic Levine, who hope to bring home the 8th state hockey championship in school history.
We had a couple of goals, one of which was to get to the state tournament, and the guys have been playing very well. We're a young team. We've got 12 sophomores, but our seniors have really started to lead the team, and that's what's important.
I think our team is peaking at the right time, which is the most important thing for us to do. And our coaches did a really good job with that. And going into the state right now, we're playing our best hockey.
And Memorial takes the ice at about 1 o'clock tomorrow. Eau Claire Memorial is the opponent at the Dane County Coliseum. McFarland, Oregon will get going in their game around 6 o'clock. They'll be facing Wausau West, and we'll have all the highlights of that early game at 6 tomorrow and then the late game at 10.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
All right, well, grab a pen. We're going to take another look at the winning Powerball numbers when we return. Here they are, 21, 22, 29, 30, 38, and your Powerball is 39.
Yes.
I lost my ticket, but I know my Powerball was 3, so it doesn't matter.
You'll have to keep working.
Yeah.
Tough beans. While we know the numbers, we still don't know who, if anyone, will be taking home the rare $100 million Powerball jackpot. It's not going to be here.
Yeah, but not for lack of trying. Some stores today report near record sales for the Powerball tickets. It's not often the jackpot gets this high.
I guess. I don't know if they're shopping for food or gas or they're buying tickets. I'm buying tickets, though. 4 Powerball.
Somewhere around 450. It'll probably end at 5 before the drawing is already done. We can do 200 on a good day on Saturday, on Wednesdays and Saturdays when the drawing is done. But it's been hectic.
It's huge. It's huge. Lots of money. I could have my own arts district downtown.
Yeah, right. That's what he'd do with his money. Sure.
I'm taking the annuity. No, it's a lot of money. Maybe I'll just take a lump sum.
It
I
is a lot
can't
of
decide.
money.
We'll have to wait till Saturday because we can get it on the track. Hope you won, right? Well, enjoy the weather.
Have a good night.
This is a WISC editorial with editorial director Neil Heinen.
The state of Wisconsin's commitment to developing sciences and technology-based businesses in the state is the type of economic strategy best pursued by public-private partnerships. The Department of Commerce is pursuing just such a partnership, the Wisconsin Technology and Entrepreneurs Council, a nonprofit corporation led by representatives of government, business, and the university. With as little as $250,000 of state money, the corporation will support and promote the businesses and programs that grow here and draw attention to their successes. The council is the right structure to provide the impetus to launch Wisconsin into the competitive biotech, high-tech arena. We encourage the state legislature to approve its creation.
WISC TV3 welcomes your comments. Please send them to Editorial Director, Box 44965, Madison, Wisconsin.